Hey guys, my name is Stephen Martelli from freedomeducation.ca. So as you can see today, and I haven't done a video in a little while, but I've been procrastinating on that. But as you can see, I got a different background today. It's because I'm at my parents' place in Sudbury. My wife and I, Tricia and I, always come up to Sudbury in the summer quite often. We're on vacation this week, so I thought I'd do the video from here. It's a great place. We just love hanging out here. It's pretty chilled out. It's smaller. It gets us out of the city, and this is where I grew up, so I just love coming back here and hanging out. Today I want to talk to you about 3 common mistakes or 3 common problems that people have with goal achievement. So I've talked to about 16 people over the last 7, 8 days, and people just different areas looking for coaching. And so what's interesting is that when I was going through those discussions, the same 3 things kept coming up. It was like every time we were talking about goal setting and what was stopping people, the same 3 common problems were coming up, and that's what I want to share with you in today's video. So the very first one is that the goals that people set are too small. What I mean by that is that they don't have what I call the dream big factor. So dream big factor means they've got a big vision of how that goal is going to turn out. And the reason I believe that a lot of people don't set the sort of get that dream factor going is because they don't believe that they can achieve the goal. And if they don't believe it, they just don't want to set themselves up for failure, right? It makes sense. I mean, maybe people are scared of success, or maybe they're afraid of getting too much attention. As an example, I'll let you know. Like when I first started my first blog, what happened was I started my blog and I wrote for an entire year, and that was my very first blog in 2007. And I wrote for an entire year, but I did very little marketing. So at that point, I realized that I was like, okay, I'm going to put myself out there, but not to too many people, because I don't want to get too much attention. Because if I get too much attention, there might be people that don't like what I have. And that stops a lot of people. And that comes from a limiting belief when we're really young. It comes from that belief, that your parents said if you did something wrong, let's say that you were messing around at school and you did something that was a little bit out of the ordinary and you got in trouble, the first thing they said is, why can't you be like all the other kids? So we're always told to to be accepted, so we didn't get in trouble, and we didn't, we wanted our parents to love us anyways. Just be like everyone else. And so when I started to do the blogging thing, which was a lot different than what everyone else was doing, then at least the people that I was hanging out with, I didn't feel accepted if I got too much attention and started to do things a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit more unique. But that's the essence of who you are. You've got to bring that uniqueness out. So this whole thing of setting goals that are really small, I think, is because people don't want to naturally get too much attention, and they don't want to put themselves out there because they want people to accept them and love them. The second thing that I see is really common with a problem with people have in terms of goal achievement is that they need to know how to do it. People are obsessed with knowing how to do it. I think at least 9 out of 10 people that I talk to, I said, well, one lady was like, well, I've been wanting to do this for 3 years. Or there was another gentleman, he's like, I've had this goal for 10 years. And I said, well, okay, now we got clear what your goal is, and you've got some steps you can take in the next 6 months. Now the big question is, why haven't you done it? Why haven't you gone out and made this happen? And the biggest reason, I think, is that, the how-to of any of your goals always shows up after you've already started to move towards the goal. And it's never the first thing to show up. The only thing you need to know when you first start is what you want to do and why you want to do it. So once you've got those 2 nailed down, the how-to starts to show up. And the reason I think that people get stuck on how to do stuff and just being really focused, I've got to know how to do it before I've got to have everything figured out and all the steps before I actually achieve the goal, is because they don't trust themselves. And there's really 3 areas where there's a lack of trust. There's lack of trust in the universe, lack of trust of you putting something out, an intention out, you writing down some goal, and then getting the answer and getting the support of the universe. The second thing that I think that people don't trust is their ability to trust other people. Because anyone who's done anything big and had big goals and had big dreams needed support from other people. Everyone goes through that. They don't do it on their own. So you got to trust other people. And then the third one, which is the most important, is a trust in yourself to follow through on your goals, to do and follow through and what you said you were going to do. That's probably the biggest piece that gets in the way, is that people don't trust themselves to follow through. Now the third common mistake I've got with what I was getting from for goal achievement is that people talk themselves out of it. So they might set a goal, they might write it down, they might have like concrete steps they need to take over the next, say month or the next week to make something, to manifest it, to make it happen. But then during that, they talk themselves out of it. And it's terrible because of this, this self-talk that talks people out of their goals. And the reason that the self-talk talks them out is because their subconscious, which is where all the self-talk comes anyways, has limiting beliefs, limiting perceptions, and limiting ways of thinking. And that's why people get talked out, is because their subconscious is not aligned with their goals. So I hope you can take this and, use it for yourself, because if you get stuck on any one of those points, you realize that the 3 points that I mentioned were, one was they set goals that are too small. And the reason that's a big problem is because you don't get the emotional juice. You don't get the energy to actually go after your goals if they're too small. The second one was a lack of trust. So that's like trusting in yourself, trusting in the people that are close to you, your friends and family, to support you, and trust in the universe, most importantly, that it's going to manifest and give you what you want. And then the third thing was, self-talk, and working on the self-talk so that it's aligned with your goals as opposed to, destroying and sabotaging what you're trying to do. My name's Stephen Martilli at freedomeducation.ca. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.